be here with the people. Pleasure to be here with yourself, my guy.
Thank you so much, man. And I got some questions for you, for everyone. Zilla hasn't called in yet, so we're just gonna get started without him. And when he calls in, we'll fill him in. My word from our sponsor, the Masterclass podcast is now available on Amazon Music, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. If you want to follow our IG or TikTok, they'll be on the screen right next to me right now. The username is The Official Masterclass. Go follow us up. Other than that, you want to follow our Patreon to see my unreleased music videos and to see all the unreleased Masterclass episodes that don't make it to YouTube. And follow our Patreon for $4.99, €5, or $5 depending on where you are in the world. Let's make the shit happen, man. Without further ado, hope you all enjoy the episode. And my first question today to you, my bro, is talk to us about your early life. Like, what was it growing up? Let's say 4 to 11? 4 to 11.
4 to 11?
Yeah.
Best times, because you're naive to reality of how hard life is for your parents, for your family.
Big facts.
It's just a case of you're just growing, learning, figuring out yourself, but ultimately just having fun.
Yeah.
From the age of 4 to 11, that's pretty much primary school years. I used to live in Germany. Used to live in Germany for quite a couple of years. Prior to that, used to live in an area called Tidworth.
Okay.
Which is like near Andover, I believe, or somewhere like 2 hours away.
Southeast England somewhere. Yeah.
Who knows? Just away from black people.
Civilization as we know it.
Literally, but it was okay. It was a great experience. I mean, it was pretty much what you would see on like Disney Channel in terms of living in a calm area, no danger, the kids outside, water fights, cycling in the area, playing football in the area till it's dark, the parents calling you guys to come inside at 8 o'clock because no one wants to come inside, Didn't really see colour, the fact that there wasn't really that many black people. I think I was only conscious of it maybe one period of my life, from the ages of 4 to 11.
So how many between the ages of 4 to 11, how many predominantly racial places were you in? And like, how many times did it ever feel like, raw, no one actually looks like me here?
Yeah, I mean, it was 90% of the time it was white,
raw,
10% black. Obviously, not obviously, sorry, but my father was in the army.
Yeah.
So it was a case of wherever we had to go, wherever he had to go, family follows, So with that being said, we had to move to like a countryside.
Yeah.
And other than the other black families where their parents were in the army with some sort of rank,
yeah,
there was no one else that was really black in the area. And I didn't really notice it because thankfully, when you're that age, many kids don't see colour.
Yeah,
they're just having fun.
You just see, oh, this guy is cool.
Yeah, literally. You just knock on this guy's door, he wants to come out, you play football, whatever.
So what age would you say you became conscious of it?
Conscious was 8 years old.
What was the first moment?
First moment, we was in primary school, me and my stepbrother. I think we was in like year 2 or year 3.
Yeah.
We went to the school for about 3 months. I just remember no one really playing with us at lunchtime.
Right.
No one really wanted to sit beside us, kind of thing. Some of the flashbacks in my head are quite blurry, but some of them are quite vivid. And I just remember me and my stepbrother called Leslie. We just didn't really hang around with anyone. No one really connected with us. And at the time, when I was young, I wouldn't say I was that emotional.
Yeah.
So it was a case of, I just remember my parents just pulling us out of school and just going to another school. And then when we went to another school, I realized how friendly those kids are. And my parents ended up telling me, the reason why we left that school. But for me, I think maybe it's a case of me being the eldest child. I've always kind of used to being by myself. Yeah. So when we went to a school where I didn't have that many friends, it didn't really impact me because as soon as I left school, the kids in the estate, the kids in the block, as you called it, they're my friends.
Yeah.
So I didn't really overthink it until we left, and I was like, oh, that's what we was going through. But ultimately, that was one probably bad blip in the space of 6 years, 7 years. So overall, like I said, it was a Disney Channel experience where it was a case of, we get picked up by the yellow bus, comes on our road.
Oh,
you sit beside someone on the bus and you're singing like, the songs, bus songs, or you got match attacks and stuff like that and and you're just, doing that kind of stuff. It was just real. Like I said, I can't emphasize enough. It was what you saw on Disney Channel. Just going to different schools and just cross country football tournaments, that tournament. It was a great experience, but every high has some lows as well.
Right, that's crazy. So Disney Channel from the ages, what, 4 to 11?
Yeah, Disney Channel vibes from 4 to 11. Yeah, definitely. I think when it came to when me and the family moved to London, that's when everything changed.
Okay, we're gonna get into that. But before we get into that, tell me about some of your idols growing up and some of your main influences in life.
Idols growing up, definitely family.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely family. I don't have any older siblings. Both of my parents are only children, so therefore I don't have immediate cousins or anything like that.
Yes.
And on top of the fact that we moved a lot, I didn't really see a lot of family other than my immediate family.
Yeah.
So my immediate family were my role models.
So would you say that makes you totally reserved today outside of your business life?
Yes or no? Because I'm a yes or no. I have that side of me which I keep things to myself, and you're never really going to know who I am completely, because everyone's always got a side to them they keep to themselves. And also I believe that people will try and block your blessings.
100%, especially in this
society. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So therefore you have to keep certain things to yourself.
100%.
And that's a lot of strong will. Because if you can keep things to yourself, then I know that you can hold a secret for somebody else that really trusts you, for example, you know? But yeah.
That is... So what, main influences that could be?
Main influences would be my two fathers.
Two fathers,
biological dad, stepdad.
Yeah.
A main influence would be, my grandparents and my mother, really.
Okay.
And they all have their own different sense of how they've influenced me in life, but I would say definitely those 5 people, massive.
So for a kid that moves from that school to this school, country to country, this part of the UK to that part of the UK, and everything's just, it's unsettling as a kid.
Yeah, but it's okay.
It's okay now, but at the time, was it like, bro, I might make a friend and then 6 months I'll be like, oh, this is my last day at school.
Yeah. I mean, creating long-standing relationships has always been an issue. Yeah. Mainly because of the fact that we moved a lot. Family moved a lot. I went to, I think, about 7 or 8 different primary schools. Right. Yeah, and that's just a case of we was in England one point, then we moved to the countryside, then we left the countryside, went to Germany, and then came back. So it was a good experience. It was a good experience, and the experience I had as a childhood, a lot of people would love to have that experience 100%, because coming to London just made me see how closed-minded everyone is, because they haven't had experiences. All they know is their area, whereas London was the last place I knew. London was a place of I come here for every couple of times a year for maybe a week or 2 weeks to see some family members in London, but other than that, it was countryside. It was on holiday or living in Germany.
So, what's one thing you say that you do now that if you had never moved back into the city, it wouldn't be a part of your regimen, like completely?
Difficult question. I feel like I'd just be a whole different person. I remember being in Germany, and got to the point where it was like, I love this place so much, but I realized I didn't fully fit in. Good, man. That's prepared for the new week. We got 3 camps happening this week, so.
Oh yeah, half term floating, isn't it?
Yeah, half term, man. When the parents get to rest, we don't rest. We want the money.
All right, let's introduce this once more. Hello to all the folks at home. This is a special episode. Episode 10 is the Masterclass Sports Play Motion collab that everyone's been waiting for. I got Zilla on the phone. Zilla, say what's up to the people.
As you know it, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are listening. Thank you for tuning in. And as I said, all the time, if you change your mindset, you change your circumstances, and hopefully the Masterclass, I help you. Let me say this before we even get any further.
Yeah.
All the listeners, whatever you're listening to, put them into action. Practice the principles. If it don't work, then at least you can't say they're talking bullcrap. But if it works, adapt it to your lifestyle and move on. Because half the time we get carried away and we have too much information swirling around. But information is not knowledge, it's the action.
100%.
So, yes,
let's
get it.
All right, that was Zilla. Across the table from me, rocking his SPM merchandise. Link in the description. Go get that. We got Mike C, Coach Mike, Coops the rapper. We got a man of many personalities, the motivational speaker himself.
Tracksuit speaker, come on, man.
Mike C, nice to meet you, man. Shake my hand.
My guy, man. Blessings, man. Thank you for having me, you guys. Thank you. Zilla SQ, thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
So
Yes, sir.
welcome to the masterclass, man. We just want to know about you, let the people know yourself about you, and yeah, man. Let's get started.
Yeah, man.
So
Who is Mike C?
your first question?
Who's Mike C? It's a deep one already. Mike C is he's a calm, conscious guy that's just in the process of living out his purpose. And I still feel like there's still so much of my purpose that I'm still yet to discover. But at this moment in time, I know my purpose is to help the young people, to help.
You mean there's more of your purpose you need to uncover. When you discover something, that means it wasn't there.
There we go then.
So you have the purpose, you just need to unlock it.
No, but 100%, yeah, 100%. Because I feel like, once you achieve certain goals, there's always more to achieve. You don't just settle. Because I feel like if you just settle at that moment in time, then I'm an overthinker. So I feel like, once
you get complacent, you're stagnant.
Get complacent, then I feel like God might take my life away. I'm not living up my purpose for real. So
is that how you think, bro?
That's how I think. I'm scared. I'm scared when I get to the end of the process and I'm like, oh my days.
You're just gonna wake up one day and
what
hear this
now?
noise.
Yeah, what now?
Chapter close, a new one start.
100%. 100%.
Wild.
Yeah, GTA KO. But yeah, Mike C.
So the question I've got to you is, explain. We talked a bit about your idols and main influences growing up. Talk to me now about your high school life.
High school was cool. The man I am now is not the guy I was then, but then again, that was 10 years ago, so no one's who they were 10 years ago. I thought that would be an issue.
Okay.
But yeah, for me, school was a cool experience. It was an experience of me finding myself socially more than anything. I think it kind of goes back to your previous question of, the consistent fact that we had to move around every couple of years and change my friendship groups.
Yeah. When
it came to moving to England and starting high school, it was a case of, okay, I realized that everyone already had a social group.
Mm-hmm.
Who do I know? So school was a lot about figuring out who I'm trying to be. Am I trying to be the guy that likes to fight a lot?
Yeah.
The guy that gets all the girls, the guy that does the football, the guy that does studies, who you trying to be? And I feel like in school, everyone's trying to find themselves, and
of course.
they indulge in different social groups to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
Some kids, they set up for one group. Some kids float. For me, I was just a floater.
Okay.
But yeah, school was a cool experience. I didn't finish with anything great.
Yeah.
So therefore, I didn't go there for the purpose of school. But yeah, it was cool. I can't complain. Sitting where I am now, I can't complain.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Everyone on this episode right now, we didn't do that well in school, so you know what I mean. I don't really ask that question to poke fun or nothing.
It is what it is, man. For me, I find that as motivation. When I speak to people that got degrees and 10 GCSEs, and I'm like, what are you doing at GCSEs now?
Yeah.
But for me, it's like life is my school.
Okay.
And I feel like.
But then you see, here's a difference now, because you see, smart people always behave like they're intelligent.
Mm.
And I know it's a strong statement, and I'll explain why. A smart person is very intellectual in terms of a specialist. So whatever subject that they studied in, they diverse into it, right? So if they're an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor or, I don't know, whatever profession they choose to go into, they become a specialist at it. And the best person always they're on top of the food chain, i.e. they get the big bags, they make 100 and something thousand a year and all of that jazz, yes?
Yeah.
The intelligent person is the one who employ the smart person.
Yeah.
Because the way the thing's set up, it's set up for the smart person to specialize in whatever they do. So I am not freaking smart to do this and do that. So I have to get the person who's smart enough to do it. Because, they're smarter than me, but they're not intelligent.
100%.
And it's not a disrespect or try to say, boy, you don't have any purpose. It's just the fact that they always look down on you because you don't sit in the position that they're sitting. Like, oh yeah, you got 3 degrees and you went to university, and so what?
Yeah.
Still work for me though.
Who gives a fuck?
100%. For me, it's a case of everyone has to play their role.
Okay.
And yeah, just embrace the role that you're given.
Yeah.
And perform to the best of your ability.
Okay.
Because for me, I wasn't always sitting at the top of my tree, the SBM tree. There's been so many times throughout these whole years of being a worker, as you would call it, is where I'm a soldier.
Yeah.
I'm being led, and I'm learning from the person. I'm trying to absorb as much information as I can from the leader.
Yeah.
Till one day I'm gonna get the opportunity to become my own leader and have my own team.
Yeah.
So
speaking on becoming a leader, talk to me now about working before SPM, and also talk to me. I heard something through the grapevine about something about Cooper's Play. Explain to the folks at home what that is.
Yeah, Cooper's Play was division before SPM. Cooper's Play is, it's just a different name. It was a case of, I got this inspiration from my little brother, it was a case of, he never really liked sports, never really had an interest in sports. And for me, we come from a very sporty background in terms of not always playing it, but it was always on the TV, So for me, I wouldn't say I regularly started playing football consciously up until I was like 15.
Okay.
Obviously, I was playing as a kid, U7, U8 football, but then there was a massive gap, the foundation phase, they call it. And for me, one of the great things my father said was watch the game, watch the plays that you want to play in the position. And for me, it was a case of I absorbed and learned the sport of watching it. So my little brother didn't watch the sport. He didn't have an interest in playing or watching. I was like, okay, different character. And then it came to a point when he attended our after school club. I think it lasted for about 6 weeks. Yeah. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, he does like a sport, and that's cool, And I felt like my little brother was excited during that 6 week period. And then it came to the 6th week or the 7th week, and I remember him coming home early. And I remember asking him, like, why are you here? He's like, yeah, club's done. There's no more club. And, from that moment, in all honesty, I feel like he was never the same in terms of I didn't see that kind of enjoyment from sport ever again.
Big man.
Yeah. So for me, I was like, wow, like if I obviously love football, but if I can build like a sports business, like a company for kids that don't just like football or just like basketball, but they just need an introduction into sports for them to figure out if they actually like, if they don't like it. So rather than having one particular sport, can I build a multi-sports company where if you don't like football, you might like dodgeball. Yeah. You might like cricket, you might like tennis. But we're going to try and provide everything for you so that you want to come back to our establishment.
Of course.
So that's originally where Cooper's Play came from, and made a lot of trial and error mistakes. Obviously, I was 18, 19, so, invested a lot of money into the business without making the right moves or, speaking to the right people. But then by that point, it was a case of, you have to learn and you have to go through the process. And I went through that process of making the mistakes, trying to correct those mistakes and transition from Cooper's Play to Sports Play Motion.
So just to be in a bit of retro aspect there, you said your father told you to watch the game. What game are you watching? I know you're a Man United fan.
Yes, I'm just watching all games, man.
So is this
I'm just a football fan.
Period of Sir Alex Ferguson?
Yeah, this is where we dominated.
Okay.
This is why SPM is red. Yeah, for people that don't know, Man United.
Okay.
Obviously when it was my era, we grew up winning, and I used to see my dad watching Manchester United, really, from what I can remember. Yeah. I remember us winning, I think 2005 was the first time I took it in. That's when we signed like Park Ji-sung from PSV, £4 million or something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, Roy Carroll slipping it against Tottenham,
So, but I've also heard through the grapevine that you used to be a Chelsea fan growing up.
Yes.
It was Arsenal fan too, no?
Oh, God.
Jesus.
See, these are things I don't remember,
It was Arsenal, then he went to Chelsea.
Oh,
and then
Jesus.
Well, then don't say that to the people, Don't say that to the people.
Then I get him into football, and then from get him into football, then the whole thing just snowballed.
Yeah, definitely. My dad, drove me into the right direction.
So now you're Man United till death.
Oh, till death.
So if you have a kid, are they Man United till death, or?
Hopefully. I'm always going to do that thing where, like, if I have a woman and she supports a different team, we're going to get both jerseys, put it on the floor, and I'm going to say to my youth, walk and pick one up.
And then from there,
and if you don't pick up the one I want, subconsciously I'm still gonna try to influence you anyway.
That is mad. So talk to us now about your motivational speaking stage.
Yeah, motivational speaking was a great moment in my life. Was a real eye-opening moment.
The videos are still online now.
Still online now.
Almost
I'm so
10
happy.
years. Almost 10 years.
I'm not that old, my friend. But yeah, I think it's like
10
5,
years
6
and
years.
3 years.
Yeah. To be fair, I recorded those videos when I was 2021. Good moment in my life. Very anxious moment in my life. I've never really been a camera guy. I've never really been a social media guy.
So are you more of a camera guy now?
Not even. If you look at my followers, it's poor.
But like, so what you're saying, you couldn't have like a film crew follow you around for like a week?
Now I could.
Yeah.
Because I'm more experienced speaking to people, dealing with people, whereas before that was my first ever real experience.
Introduction
Of speaking to a camera, not stuttering my words, not sweating because of pressure. Yeah. But we come a long way. And like I said, for me now doing SPM for such a long time and speaking to different people and engage with people from different backgrounds and cultures, it enforces you to articulate yourself well and slow yourself down and just be more confident in yourself.
That's mad.
But yeah, Mike C, the tracksuit speaker, motivational speaker that came from the inspiration of initially my friend called Suture.
Yeah.
He showed me a motivational speaker called Eric Thomas. Big up ET, changed my life. And Eric Thomas, in summary, is a lot like how I love a football coach, where they're very loud, they shout, they show a lot of passion, and you can see that they care through their passion.
Yeah.
And a lot of the messages he said that during his YouTube videos and stuff really resonated to me, because a lot of his messages were very similar to my dad's, messages, which unfortunately, So my Eric Thomas reminded me a lot of my dad, in terms of the advice and how he was as a life coach and stuff like that. And I found it really inspiring. And I thought at that moment in time, it helped me, it uplifted me, it changed my mentality, and I wanted to do that for other people. So I started working in speaking in a couple schools, going to like different seminars, speaking with people, that had way more experience, that had their own masterclass, had their own team, just trying to gain knowledge.
So, would it ever come back?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
If you could put like within the next 2-3, when would the deadline be so we can call the dev team and get this in the process?
Couple of years, I would say realistically next 3 years maximum.
Okay.
The reason why I took a step back from motivational speaking was a case of I wanted to build my success story.
Yeah.
A lot of feedback I got from people was, I know what I'm talking about, I sound good, but I'm 21 years old at the time. Yeah. So I have a little bit of trauma, but what have you done with that trauma? What have you transformed it into? Mm-hmm. And when I spoke to someone and they told me that, I was like, wow, it makes a lot of sense. I can't be ignorant at this moment in time.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, let me build myself, let me build Mike, let me build the business, let me build everything. So when I come back to time to speak, I'm speaking of of authenticity, in terms of just realness. Like I've lived it.
So if it's 3 years, the deadline you put on for 3 years is the deadline for the motivational speaker to return. Mm-hmm. Can we, for everyone at home, I know they need even if it's a 30 to a 45-minute documentary.
This guy's on to me, guys.
For real though, because I just see you doing more and more shit, and it's I need a backstory. I need something to follow. Even if you had a team following you around for a month and then you released it 4 or 5 months later.
No, but that is the plan. The plan is to come back and, be a social presence and to have my face there. And like I said, speaking for me is what I love doing. Yeah. That's what I love doing. I feel like it's my biggest strength on the pitch.
Yeah.
My football history, my career history, shall you say, my playing history is football. Yeah. At amateur level, semi-professional level. And one of my strengths, as I say, is just talking. I can just read the game and I just instruct. So therefore, I can translate all of that talking on the pitch, all of that talking in the dressing room, onto a stage, onto a podium.
That's mad.
Yeah.
So, what position did you play growing up? What was your favorite position to play as well?
I thought you really being a centre back.
Yeah.
My parents told me I used to be a striker.
Oh, so in your youth?
Yeah, my youth. Okay, 7 days, 8 days. Toe punt days.
But you mentioned earlier you missed the foundation stage of playing football. Had you have done those years, what position do you think you would have played?
It's a good question. I'm not too sure. I just remember when we was living in an area called Tidworth, I remember being a striker.
Yeah.
And I remember this training session very vividly where it was indoors. I think it was indoors because it was winter time.
Yeah.
And
it used to be every Wednesday night in Andover.
See.
Right,
Wednesday nights. I remember one particular training session where I got devoted from a striker to a defender. And they didn't have goals, but they had 3 cones.
Okay.
And you have to kick the cones to score.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I was maybe 2 yards away from the cone and I was missing.
Oh, right.
I remember that session like it's yesterday. Yeah. And from that session there, I remember the coach putting his arm around me. He's like, yeah, it's okay. And you see when the game came on a Sunday, I was a defender.
Oh my.
And it was okay. It was like, it is what it is. But that's when I really, embraced the likes of, Dad used to say, watch Maldini, watch Rio Ferdinand, Ashley Cole, all them players. And I'm like, okay, I love this. Aggression? This reminds me of WWE. Let me slide it on the brother. So I embraced the new role.
You're just ruining it. Look at my lips. You're ruining it.
So I got one question that I asked about 5 people before this episode. What's the one question you want to ask Mike C? Everyone wants to know if you have any special lady in your life right now.
No comment.
Are you not embarrassed? This is really
No,
embarrassing.
you know me. I'm just living my life, living my purpose.
Okay.
I would love a good woman to come in my life because I feel like a lot of people that are successful, they always I try to follow their formula.
What is their formula?
And a lot of successful people always say finding a good woman will make a difference in your business, will make a difference in your life.
Okay.
And at first I used to be kind of arrogant towards it. I used to be like, what? I can do it myself. I don't really need a woman, blah, blah. But then the older I get, the more I understand if you actually have that, that support system.
You need a rider chick there, boy.
There you go. If you have that support system, it's gonna push you. It's gonna help a lot. So trying to find that, but not found that yet.
Okay.
So we're there, man. Still living my life anyway. Good.
The part 2 to that question. I got one more part after the part 2.
Oh God.
Do you personally have any toxic traits, quote unquote, and have you met anyone with quote unquote toxic traits?
Wow, toxic traits. Toxic trait. I would say I always get good reviews. I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy. A rat. You know what I'm saying? But generally, no person I've ever been with can ever say I'm being a bad boyfriend. I feel like if anything, my toxic trait comes down to sometimes my eyes do wander, or have wandered in the past.
Okay. It's human nature though.
Human nature.
Human nature.
You know what I'm saying? As Drake said, for the dogs. You know what I'm saying? Not that I am one, but yeah.
One answer. And question 3 is, which one of your past entanglements would you say you've grown the most from?
I would say my most recent entanglement, it's like a relationship or a situationship. They're different things, man.
You explain your difference between a relationship.
People them know. But yeah, relationships obviously when you've asked that person to be your girlfriend.
You pop the big question.
You pop the big question, or you've had that conversation that's come into, the atmosphere somehow. Whereas a situationship is just a case of that's just your link. That's your main link. Yeah. So I would say yeah. But in terms of entanglement, that's more like a situationship.
Yeah.
I don't really go into situationships. I feel like it's a lot of time wasted. It can be a lot of time wasted.
So are you saying that you've wasted a lot of time or a lot of energy within entanglement?
Not a lot, because I know that, if I start to speak to someone or I spend time with someone and I don't feel something after a little while, not like a short period of time, I'm not wasting my time anymore.
You're just ruining it.
So that's why I say.
Look at my lips. You're ruining it.
I would say like my last serious situationship was probably like 19, 20.
Rah.
Yeah. Now it's a case of it's either a relationship or we're trying to get to know each other, but then it doesn't materialize. So
then what's the longest situationship you've ever been in?
Wow, longest situationship. Yeah, the one was when I was 19. That went on for like 7 months, 8 months.
8 months?
I'd call it that.
That's your longest?
It's my longest. Where she's not my girl, but she's basically my girl without being my girl.
Ever.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So let's transition a little bit more into you actually forming SPM. How did that come about? Because you said it was Cooper's Play originally. Take us through the steps from there.
I had a mentor at the time, and he had a business called Tennis in Motion.
Okay.
And when we spoke about, because I was speaking to him about changing the name from Cooper's Play to something else.
Okay.
And he had Tennis in Motion. And I was like, Tennis in Motion, that sounds cool. That makes sense. And I was like, sports play motion. I love all sports. We're a multi-sports company. I love playing. If you know me, like parents, kids tell me all the time, like, Coach, why are you sweating? Because I love playing just as much as you love playing. I'm out here in the fields. I just don't want to put the cones down. I want to play as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a thin line between playing like you're one of the players and playing like a coach. You know, it's never a case of the session's about me. It's a case of if I can play and bring some energy to the exercise,
Some intensity,
then some of the kids love it, but there's also times where the kids are like, no, coach, you can't play, you know, and I step back. That's not my role. But yeah, sports, play, motion, because we're always moving, we're always in motion. So I thought the three comes together. I like, you know, SPM. Yeah. So it just clicked, you know, thankfully. Word to my guy Tim, helped me out there. And yeah, once it became sports, play, motion, it became real. Cooper's Play was real, but Cooper's Play, you know, looking back now, I knew I was very young, very inexperienced. So during that time when it was Cooper's Play, I was getting a lot of no's and I was learning. Whereas when it came to SPM, this is when I was learning on the job in terms of I got a few more yeses. Now it's about producing, you know, and during that time, of course, you're gonna make mistakes as well. But if you perform, your performance is gonna cancel out the minor mistakes that you make.
All right. My next question to you is, how was it for you finding team members for SPM, and also how was it embracing actually being an entrepreneur rather than hearing it from Eric Thomas?
Embracing, it's an amazing feeling. It's definitely an amazing feeling. That's what keeps me up at night.
The fact that like you're legit in the fast lane.
Yeah, the fact that I'm here right now, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But I like pressure. I thrive on pressure. And for me, it's a case of every session's like a Champions League final. Okay. And what I mean by that is a case of you have to perform, because if I don't perform, then I'm not gonna have this opportunity again.
I hear that.
You know, I think someone's knocking the door.
Alright, cool. Yeah. 1 second, folks.
You're just ruining it. Look at my lips. You're ruining it.